Listen to this. They're trying to claim, well, we got hip hop from West Africans. We got it from him. Listen to this. Hold on.
But I am the tree.
Yeah.
I am the tree of rap music.
In Ghana.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to the Guinness Book of Records, they're talking about rap music coming from America.
Yeah.
Talking about the Sugar Hill Gang and Rappers Delight. And look, check their date. Their date is around 1978, 79.
Yeah.
Mine is 1973.
Whoa.
So which one came first?
Yours came first.
Yeah, so I'm challenging them because, so it needs to be corrected.
Exactly.
Aside from that, the rap didn't come from America. The rap is from Africa.
From Africa.
Yeah.
Wow, and you're the first to invent.
I'm the first commercially.
Whoa.
Put it on a vinyl so that people can buy and listen to it in their homes. The rap is an African, but I am the tree.
Man, if you don't stop, dude.
As we just heard from this African dude, he's now claiming that he was the inventor of rap music and he was doing rap music before African Americans, quote unquote black people or quote unquote African Americans were, which is the biggest lie on earth. And there's many nations that like to steal what we do. Now, hip hop and rap is but undeniably has changed culture in a huge way in America or Babylon. And even in the black man's lowest state, was brought down. He had his history stolen. All the other nations teamed up against him. He had all of his wealth taken from him, his understanding from him, his history, his God, his Bible, his book taken from him. And we were still able to compete on the highest levels in the schools, on the field, and inside the studios and stuff like this. And our constant creative force was pushed into overdrive because that's all we had. So when you take everything from a nation of people, take their understanding, take their spirit, take their pride and joy, take their history, their creative forces and their creative talents are going to be pushed to the limits. That's all we have is to be creative. When we're sitting in these slave houses, these slave huts, there's not much else to do besides to stay comforted by singing with each other or making music with each other or creating little things that help pass the time or make the days better or help us forget what we just saw earlier that day. That's why in the first video I released, I put a video of the pastor, the Caucasian Edomite pastor, John Kilpatrick, singing "Nobody Knows It," and he was talking about how black people sing these Negro spirituals, and how black people have like a different frequency to their voice when they sing them because of what they've gone through, and how what they've gone through affects what comes out of your voice. When you've gone through hell, I think he says you can hear it out of your voice. Like, it changes you. It changes your frequencies, how you talk, the power in your voice, and the energies your voice brings out. Because even right now, when I'm talking into this microphone on my phone, I have a frequency that's going out. There's a frequency, there's a tone, there's a resonation that's going out, and that has power and that has energy behind it. And whatever you say, words can curse you or words can build you up. So rap music and just the creations that we were making from when we were put into servitude in the 1600s, 1500s, into the late 2000s up until now, even, we've created a lot of stuff that all the other nations have just got to take and rip away from us. Because when you're not allowed to become a nation, when you're at the bottom, like I've stated in many videos before, you're not allowed to benefit, just like the curses in Deuteronomy described. You're going to build a house, but you will not inhabit it. You will control a wife, but you will not lay with her. Another man will lay with her. You will plant a vineyard, and you will not collect the grapes from it. Another nation will come and take the grapes from it. You will work on the vineyard. You will plant the vineyard. You will upkeep the vineyard, but the other nations will take your vineyard and take the benefits of your reap the benefits of your vineyard. You will build a house, not dwell in it. Like I said, all these curses of Deuteronomy is what happened to us. So when we created stuff like rock and roll, Beethoven was black, Bach was black. These are all black men, but since we can't be known as being great, and we can't have any ties to anything that was good, or have any ties to anything that means that shows intelligence or anything of higher class, was not allowed to be associated with the Negro or black. So they had to cut off these historical figures that we've had, or our great inventors that we had, because they had to keep the idea alive and the narrative alive that we are dumb and stupid and can't create everything, and that we just are leeches and we have to suck off of everybody. When in the reality is, it's the opposite. They suck off of us. Now, I this is not the first time. White people are usually the ones coming for hip hop, and they're obsessed with us. They're obsessed with everything we do. So they've stolen rock and roll. They stole rock and roll. That's why Eminem calls himself the Elvis Presley of hip hop. If you did not know, Eminem has been very open with who he is, and that's why I give Eminem props. I think I do. I'm not the biggest fan of him now, but I used to be back in my carnal, worldly days. I was, especially when I was younger, and my mom, I wasn't allowed to listen to a lot of rap music, or I was not encouraged to. Like, if she came up and she heard a radio blasting in my brothers and I room, and it was rap music, and she would not be too keen on it, and she would just take away the radio. She wouldn't just tell us to change the channel. She would take away the radio. So, I mean, that was back when I was younger, right? And when I started school, like elementary, third, second grade and stuff like that. But as you get older, you start listening more to this music, and rap music is completely 100% ours. It was made coming out of the 70s, and if you didn't know, the 60s and 70s were very good years for good decades for black Americans. And that is when the 80s happened, is when the United States government, the CIA, took us down a couple notches because there was too many black power groups getting started. There was too many black, this new ideologies and religions getting formed. Although they were sects, they were all worldly religions and all false religions and false gods. There was a lot of organizing happening in the black communities out of the 60s and 70s. Many groups started forming, many gangs started forming. And it wasn't just talking about, oh, let's just control the block. It was, why can't we take over the city? Why can't we just have our own communities again? The Jewish people have their own communities. The Chinese man has their own communities. The Arab man has their own communities. So why are they over in our communities opening stores in our communities when we don't have stores in their communities? It was stuff like this. Kwanzaa was formed. Go back to the 70s and 80s time capsule, and just go look at some videos from them and how blacks spoke and how blacks carried themselves from that period. And you can see why they needed to hit us with the crack epidemic in the 80s. And the hip hop really started late 70s, mid 70s, and really started just becoming more mainstream in the black community in the 80s. Now, Africans want to claim that we got the drums from them, but Africans are still lying, because Africans are part of the deception that has been pulled on us. Africans were the ones that were told to not tell us that we did not come from Africa. So Africans are in big trouble at the end, in the be all and end all of things, because they helped create the false narrative that we came from them. And they have not said anything about that since. Africans have not said one thing about, hey, can we have our people back, for over 400 years. You can't now all of a sudden in these later years start trying to attach yourselves to us and cleave to us and act like you are part of our struggle, or you understood our struggle. You've been silent about what we've gone through for 400 years. If we came from West Africa and different tribes in Africa, don't you think after about 200 years after the Civil War, they would have made a hasty attempt to come get us again, or say, yo, send us back our people? We would like that manpower back in our nation. We would like these people back in our nation to help build up these nations that you took us from? No, absolute silence. They have not said a word about it. And when they do speak about it, it's very awkward, like they almost know that they know something that we don't know. Like they talk about us like we're not really their people, but they're forced to pretend like we're their people. And we've learned this. So now when this African dude comes here and he claims that hip hop derived from Africa and the drums that they started and they originated with, that's a lie. That is a complete lie. You can go and you can read stories about the natives here in the Americas, and especially down in South America and Central America, and like around Mexico and the southern United States. There's Indians that were described as being very joyful, liking to play games, leap and jump high into the air, and speak in rhyming ways. So it's like you're lying. It's just people trying to gatekeep black culture and say you didn't start that, you didn't do that. It was because of us. It's like when white people say that we wouldn't be so good at sports and we're only so good at athletic games and being athletes is because they breeded us so well, and that's why we're so good at sports. That's a trick. That's trickery right there. That is deception. That is a lie, and that is crafty counsel. That is a lie straight out of hell. That's a devil right there when he says that. That's a demon speaking that to you because he's trying to rip any type of intelligence, any type of anything good from your spirit. Because that's what happened to the Israelites. They're not allowed to be proud of themselves. They're not allowed to have pride in what they do. So when rap music came out, white people hated that shit. Everybody hated that shit. It was just for us. It was us literally rapping about what was happening around us in our communities that were being broken down and attacked. We were rapping about the oppression of the police. That's why the N-word was being dropped in all these songs, because it was raw, it was real. And it was not from something that was just a made product, but because we're so powerful spiritually, and there was a huge spirit that was put behind hip-hop, and it was the right spirit that was put behind hip-hop, people were attracted to it. Our people and people around the world, and white people didn't want to admit it. I was just watching an interview with some Caucasian lady in the 90s interviewing Eazy-E, and all these fucking white people can do in the 80s and 90s is, why do you say the N-word? You guys rap about this, and this. Isn't that a little damaging to your communities? Why can you guys say the N-words in your music and drop it over 40 times, but we can't say it once? It's just like a constant attacks on it. White people hated hip-hop until Eminem was forced to come on it, just like they did with rock and roll. And lots of other stuff. Just look at how many black dances on TikTok and how many TikTok controversies there are with black creators complaining they're not getting their just due, or them making a dance and then some stupid petty little Edomite girl doing the dance, but because she has blue eyes and blonde hair and she does it 10 times worse with no rhythm, she gets a 30,000 more views and people automatically originate her with the dance. Or in other situations, when we make up some new Soulja Boy dance or some new hip hop dance, it's like dance and black people have always gone together, like sports and black people have always gone together. So this is nothing new that we know you guys take. And then when we call you out for it, you guys flip it around and throw it down like, we don't even like it anyway, or it's stupid anyway, or who cares? We're sharing. That's what I love is when white people say we're sharing each other's cultures, or we're sharing each other's interests or abilities. So what you're going to see is them slowly taking it out of the hands of the black man. What I said about hip hop is give it 20, 30 years. Once it's been universal, or once it's been made universal, they're going to start making the grab at it in its origins. So just like the Bible, they ripped it out of the original people's hands. The white man ripped it apart, tore it apart, and then passed it all around the world so it became universal. So now nobody likes that book anymore, and nobody believes that book, and all the spiritual power and the power it had before has been stripped because it's been passed around to everybody. Same with rock and roll music. It was slowly but surely taken out of the hands of the black man, passed around to everybody else, and then it wasn't his anymore. Now the black man looks down and he sees something that he had for himself, that he created in his own, is now a small little piece of what he created, and the majority of it has been passed around, and the whole world is using it and not giving him his just due for it. And this happens with most of our creative and intellectual property, because most of the stuff that we do is a lot more exciting. There's, like I said, there's a different frequency that black people produce when they make music, when they play sports. So just like they were going over and looking at our sports leagues, would you rather sit there and watch a group of white people play basketball or play football, or would you rather go into the ghettos of Detroit or California or Florida or the South and go to a basketball court in the hood and see what was going on there? Would you rather sit in on a group of white people playing honky-tonk, blowing in bottles and striking these fucking ukulele or whatever they are, or banjos and singing bluegrass, whatever that shit is, music. I don't even remember what type of music it is. And then, or would you rather go listen to what black people are rapping about or singing about or whatever they're forming? It's just that we have a different energy. We bring a different energy, and people want to benefit off that energy. They want to take that energy, but they don't want to acknowledge the energy or where it came from or why. Just like they did with us, and there's so many examples. Like, how can we fall for this every time? There's nothing new under the sun. Truly, the scriptures are correct when they say that there's nothing new under the sun. Let me not paraphrase that. Let me get the proper scripture for it. Let me not just quote the Bible loosely. I need you guys to be able to go and look for these scriptures. So there's nothing new under the sun. I don't have my Bible next to me. It's in a stack of books over on the other side of the room. So it's Ecclesiastes 1:9. There is nothing new under the sun is one of the most important and powerful lines. Yes, it is. Yes, it is indeed. I didn't need you to expound on it. I just needed you to give me the verse. There's nothing new under the sun. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. The thing that has been done, which shall be done again. So there you go. What they do, let's just finish this thing up. What they do is they make plants. So Eminem was the biggest hip hop industry plant ever. If you haven't noticed, hip hop has been passed around the world like a blunt, just like rock and roll was ripped out of the black man's hand, ripped up and then passed around. Actually, it wasn't even passed around. The white man was like, I'm keeping this for myself. This is awesome. What they did with, let's see some other black things that were founded and started by and originated by black people that have been ripped out of their hands and then spread around the world to use by other nations. And now nations will not even respect the fact that it originated with us. Hip hop is one of those.